Making gold in vanilla WoW is tough, right? Even if you have the best strategy, like skinning and herbing during the leveling process, or you farm a certain mob from 1 to 60 in hopes that you get a rare drop so that you can sell it for a ton of gold on the auction house, it still takes time and effort. What if I told you there's a way to set up an infinite stream of income? And all you have to do is log in a couple times a day and right back off, and you'll make just as much gold, if not more, than what you would grinding through the leveling process. This technique will guarantee you enough gold for your first level 40 mount at level 40 and allow you to speed through the zones on your main character from 1 to 60 without any delay. It's a little practice I like to call alt sitting. Now check this out. This practice can be applied in many different forms, but this particular one is going to be most advantageous on a fresh account or a fresh server like Classic. I'm telling you guys, if you don't do this with your first character, you're missing out. I've got 1 spot for the Alliance to apply this strategy and 2 spots for the Horde. If you're pledging your allegiance to the Alliance, a human should always be your first character that you roll. Now this is the route we're going to be running, and if done correctly, you can have your alternative bank alt set up in less than 11 minutes. You're going to run straight out of the starting zone, kiss Goldshire goodbye, and head to that river that runs between Elwyn Forest and Duskwood. Once you've made it here, your goal is to make it just right of center of the cove where the dragon spawns in Duskwood. If you die any more to the left, you're really just going to add a couple of minutes to this run, but you don't want to do that. If you die in the correct spot, you'll be teleported to the graveyard just south of Darkshire. Once you resurrect here, you're going to want to run to the inn and set your Hearthstone. Then promptly run back to the graveyard and follow this trail headed into the Tranquil Garden Cemetery. Of course, these mobs are levels 24 to 26, so you're going to end up dying 2 times before you make it into the house that we're going to camp our alt. After you've endured a couple minutes waiting to respawn, you'll be able to resurrect in front of this treasure chest, safely from all the mobs. That's right, we're grinding treasure chests, boys. After this is done, log off, set a timer, and in an hour, log back on when the chest respawns. Stick around to the end and we'll digest how much gold you can actually make with this strategy. Now the Horde have 2 different options. The first option is the official Hidden Path Run 2.0. Check out this route that you're going to take. We're going to jump off the cliff from the Hidden Path into the Great Sea. Go ahead and loot the weapon crate under the waterfall and then allow yourself to be killed so we can resurrect and ratchet. Go ahead and make a pit stop at the inn and set your Hearthstone. After this, continue down to the coastline and we're going to swim along the fatigue line to avoid all the higher level mobs along this route. Now there are 2 spawn points that we're going to visit. One is in between these 2 islands found underwater in this sunken ship. After visiting this chest, continue down to the south, avoiding the islands as much as possible so you don't aggro the aggressive Murlocs. There's a second chest found on a secluded island. This alternative bank alt, if done without error, can be set up in 13 to 14 minutes. Then you can carry on with your account, make your main character, and log into this guy every 2 hours because these chests are 1 tier higher than the Duskwood ones. So you won't be getting as much loot, but it will be more valuable. Now, for the granddaddy of them all, the undead have the best alt sitter possible. Look at this route. We're going to travel through Brill, set our Hearthstone, and then make our way into, that's right, Western Plaguelands. The level 51 to 58 zone. Once you run out of the starting zone, try to travel a bit off this road so you make sure that when you die, you get teleported to Brill and not back into the starting zone. Resurrect from here, run into the inn and set your Hearthstone and carry on to the east. Luckily, the mobs in the starting zones run slightly slower than you, so you're going to have to maneuver around these bats a little bit, but if done correctly, can be accomplished without dying. Unfortunately, this route takes the longest to set up. We're looking at an average setup time of 20 to 22 minutes. It's a pretty big investment for a pretty big reward. It's going to take about 5 deaths to make it to this house where you'll eventually be able to run into and spawn in the second floor of the back room free of harm from any of the mobs. It's even accompanied by a couple of NPCs to set your mind at ease. This chest, of course, is a top tier chest, so it's respawning every 2 hours. Don't forget to set that timer, boys. Now let's review the drops and a couple of strategies to turn this loot into cold, hard cash. Unfortunately, the Alliance are looting this chest in the lowest level zone, so correspondingly, the loot won't sell for as much. I only did this twice, and I accidentally looted the gray item from this chest when I was checking it out the first time, so there was like one more gray item to find in this loot, but in 2 hours, I gained a raw total of 47 silver. Not to mention, I found some sick level 16 shoulders, an awesome level 28 ring, and some level 28 green mail gloves. Then 25% of the time, you're going to loot a mana or health pot, which can be extremely beneficial for your main in the leveling process. For the Horde, the chests in Duskwallow Marsh are 1 tier higher than the Duskwood chests. This zone has mobs levels 33 to 50, and unfortunately, these chests are considered to be in the 33 to 41 zone, but nonetheless, they drop great loot. The downside is, the respawn times on these chests are 2 hours. Typically, I would visit both chests the first time, and then camp out at the second one found on the island, and just log in and loot that chest, and log right back out. You could visit both chests each time, but it's more time consuming, and the faster you fill up your bags, the faster you have to Hearthstone and reset this run. So yeah, technically it could make you more gold if you visited both, but I would recommend you only did that after you can send this alt some extra bags you find on your main, not a fresh level 1. It would just be more effective that way. Holy crap, guys. I got lucky on this one, and I found a white ring that's normally sold off the goblins in Booty Bay for like 25 gold, which means this bad boy vendors for 6 gold and 25 silver. And look at these greens too, man. You're gonna find greens ranged from levels 28 to 40, which you can either vendor for the raw gold or send to your main while he's leveling. I got an insane amount of recipes as well. Holy cow, this is straight money in the pocket. I totaled a whopping 7 gold and 73 silver from this first run. And it was 2 hours game time, but like 10 minutes played time. Obviously, I got lucky with that ring, so realistically like 1 gold and 50 silver, but still, this is broken. Now, the chest in Eastern Plaguelands. We're going to be looking at gray items and greens from levels 40 to 55. These gray items vendor for a boatload, and from the 2 loots I made, 3 gold and 60 silver. Not to mention, I found the best enchant recipe for boots for level 19 twinks. There's no telling how much that recipe's worth. This chest is a blessing and a curse. It obviously drops the most valuable items of the 3 farming spots, but it's a total pain in the backside to reset. I do want to point out that if you've got the alt set up in Western Plaguelands, you're only going to want a Hearthstone to Brill if you want to mail some items and save them for later. Alternatively, if you're going to vendor your loot, kill yourself from the mobs in the house and you'll be teleported back into Tirisful Glades, right next to the vendor. Now let's go over some alt strategies that's going to make your time alt sitting the most effective. You're going to want to send your alt sitter all of your extra bags right away. If you're using this strategy, this makes those extra bags on your main character so much more valuable. But honestly, if you do this first thing on a fresh realm, you're going to end up filling up that initial bag and traveling back to the inn quicker than you would be able to acquire some extra bags and mail them over from your main character. Actually, you'll make so much money early on, you'll be able to buy 6 and 8 slot bags from the vendors at the inn for your alt sitter, much less your main character. The Alliance actually have the option to buy the 10 slot bag for 2 gold, but I don't think it's worth it. the 8 slot bag goes for 25 silver and the 6 slot bag only 5 silver. So if you're a cheapskate, stick with those 6 slotters. As for me, I'll probably pick up the 8 slot bags. Now let's maximize this farm even more. Like I've covered in my starting zone chest videos, each chest guarantees a green item, a white or gray item, a consumable, and a regent. There's always a 25% chance to pick up a potion, and of course a slim chance to get a bonus blue, a rare recipe, or of course some type of white vendor item that can sell for a ton of gold. Now, I don't want to reset my character very often because it takes like 10 minutes for the Horde and 5 minutes for the Alliance to get back to those chests. If you go ahead and delete the regent and the consumable from each chest, you'll free up a lot more bag space for those green and gray items which vendor for a lot more gold. This strategy will maximize the gold made per hour off of this farm. Now, of course, you're going to want to set up your original bank alt that you want to send all these extra items to that you want to save for later on down the road. If you're doing this on a fresh server like Classic and you don't want to waste time running your bank alt to a main city, check out this quick tip. All you have to do is create a new character, and I don't even think you have to log into him, but then you're able to send mail to his name and it'll stay in his mailbox for up to 30 days. An infinite mailbox for the first month. You can just vendor all these items if you're just focused on getting enough gold for that level 40 mount, or you can save up some of the potions and mail some of the gear to your main, aiding your main character during his leveling process. I'll even give you a third alternative. If you're going to be leveling enchanting, save up these greens and you'll be able to disenchant them for their dust. Early on, if you're just going for gold, it's going to be more profitable just to vendor these items before the economy picks up, but it's worth noting. I gotta give a big shout out to my man, Teddy Brew. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I'm sure everybody else is thanking you. I don't always come up with these awesome ideas. No way. This one was too good. Now I know I got a lot of people cursing me right now for showing this. Sorry. I just want to see a horde of undead run straight through the starting zone and race me for that chest in Western Plaguelands come the launch of Classic. That'd be awesome. So come join the Discord and be a part of the community. If you got a topic like this one that you want covered, come tell me about it and we'll make it happen. If you just want to give me some critiques, that Discord channel is the best place to do it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope y'all are getting prepped for Classic like I am. It's gonna be sick. It's coming soon. Come join the community and let's have some fun. I'll see y'all in the next one. Graysfordays. Howdy.